Hello everyone, this is Bigalski.
And this is JayTB.
And today we are doing another NGTalk with julius-ruler4, which he also has a couple of other names. His YouTube name's a little bit different. He will be explaining all of that to us. And today he's going to be doing Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, doing a karma run for us. This will be day 2 for Ryu and day 2 for Ayane. So he really loves the karma run, that side of it. He's going to explain it, tell us a little bit about himself. So having said all that, Julius, take it away, man. Let's have some fun, guys.
Yeah, thank you Bigalski. What I'm actually going to show you here is what a karma run is all about, and not just the spamming side of it, like doing one single thing, but giving you a little bit more of an in-depth view on how to approach this. There's a lot of things that are not known by the general community, is because they don't really care for it and they don't really watch it, just like you see Kel's karma run.
Yep.
By the way, as you can see here, I'm doing a lot of jump on landing jump. This is something I actually did for science. This was just for science I did to see if it works the same way as it did in NG2 and NG Black.
It looks the same. Yeah, it's like,
Going back to what you said, yeah, you know, it's just kind of slide around until you get a steel on bone and go from there. But actually, after watching these couple chapters, yes, it might look like that a little bit, but it is different. So that's why you get to come here and explain all of it to us.
Yeah, it is different. The main thing to score points in this is mostly steel on bone, but there's also a lot of awareness that's involved in it. As you see, I just hit an enemy with a steel on bone, but I could have done one earlier. And the reason I didn't do that is because you then interrupt a chain and you lose combo points. There's a lot involved. When you see, right now I got a UT ready, and the rocket launcher guys start coming in, so you really want to deal with those first. And they can really take a lot of health away from you if you're not careful. And just keep doing steel on bone until your bloody rage gets maxed out, until you have a certain amount of enemies left. Now, the next wave of RPGs just spawn in, and you really gotta take those out as well.
So, do you keep count of the enemies, or do you just kind of know the total amount for each fight?
The total amount is written on a piece of paper, because I had to watch older videos for that in order to know how many enemies you have. Now here you see a little delay, because normally when you play the game for the first time, there's a little tutorial that says hold triangle to release your UT or get your UT ready. I'm trying to hold this as long as possible until it goes back to normal, otherwise I lose my UT. Now I released my UT a little bit too early, and that's costing me like 1,500 points.
Yeah, because your blood rage went back down after you do your UT.
Yeah.
That resets your blood rage.
Yeah, that completely resets it back to 1.0.
Okay. What were you going to say, JTB?
yeah, I was going to ask about the delayed UT. So in that fight, like, can you, because the UT gets you a lot of points stacked up, how many kills do you need? Like, how many steel on bones do you need to actually get a UT? Is it a set number?
That's all difficulty dependent. It's all difficulty dependent. On normal, for regular enemies, you need 7 enemies to die in order to get a UT. However, suicide does not count towards it, and that's something I call that little hidden kill counter. It's not visible on screen, but you gotta know it's there. And once it hits 7 on normal, your UT is ready.
Is that irregardless of how you kill them?
Regardless how you kill them,
Okay.
7 enemies dead is a full UT. However, you can't kill them with a charged UT, because that's going to reset or at least stagger the hidden kill counter. So you gotta take close attention towards this. Pay very close attention. Also, the steel on bone chain, how many you can do in a single chain, it's all weapon level dependent.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna ask, because I say I've watched quite a few of these by now, and I was thinking, you know, how many kills? I think the most I saw was maybe 5 with the scythe, maybe 4 or 5. Is that
4?
Is it 4? So your scythe here, is that leveled up fully?
That's fully maxed out.
So before we go on in this, why don't you explain, because obviously you have full weapons, is this like our maxed out weapons? So this is a new game plus? Is that
yes.
How? Okay.
That's actually that.
Would you do a karma, so it's not even worth really doing a karma run until you could max all your weapons out on a new game plus then, right? So you need to play through twice?
That is the case. The reason is because max level weapons have an extended UT animation. And you see that with the dual katanas. If you have it level 1, only one weapon will do its wind slice. If you have it level 2, both weapons will do the wind slice. And at max level, you will have the 2 wind slices plus another extended double wind slice.
Now you can direct that, right? By the look of that UT.
You can... Kinda, but you also need to see the enemy positioning, where they are. If an enemy is hiding behind a wall and he does not get hit by the UT, that's going to cost you 3,000 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you see mostly is me doing a UT at the end of an encounter, because otherwise it's going to forfeit you points, and that can rack up to an easily 20 to 25,000 if you don't pay attention.
So what you're trying to do is to slide around not only until they do the steel on bone, the red like they did right there, but you also want 4 enemies around if possible to continue that chain.
That is the case.
And
that is the case.
And then
now, this is something different.
But what I was going to say, and then, you know, when you're almost done, do the UT to kill all of the rest. So
that's it.
So it's kind of tough. I mean, you got to make sure you're right on the kill count. You got to make sure the guys are close enough to get your 4 steel on bones, and like you said, a couple misses here and there. So see, now there wasn't another guy there. You might have killed a guy a little bit earlier, so now you missed out on that extra steel on bone from that one guy.
Not always. Sometimes it's better to kill 3, because a 4th enemy can actually trigger a new chain if you have another one close to by it, because that 5th one might not do his red glowing attack right off the gate. So sometimes it's better. Now a little note, I don't know if you pay attention here, but I did mess up a little bit because I killed an enemy too much.
Yes, we noticed that.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, because it looks like you held on to that first UT for quite a while, it seemed. Like there was a lot of kills there that like potentially could have been to like stack up to the next UT build. So, because if it doesn't matter like how you killed them, like there was a lot of guys there that I think you killed with arrows, like, you know, while you still had a UT like locked and loaded.
Yeah. The reason why I kept on that UT for so long is because I wanted to use the UT on the motorcycle guys. Because to kill him with bow and arrow, that's going to cost you a lot of points on health bonus and time bonus as well. So the UT is the fastest way to kill them all.
So there's a trade-off between all that.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the time bonuses too. Like I've noticed, like because there's not a time limit, you know, on the screen like there is, you know, in like say NGO4, Black and Sigma, but you do get a time bonus pop up. You know, at the end of the fight, you'll get like a rank on the time bonus. Like, do you actually know what that is? Like, for like, you know, what's going to denote like a, you know, like the top rank, middle rank, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Basically, S rank is top rank.
Right.
That is 100%. A is 75%. B is 50%. C is 25%, and D is absolute 0. Now, this is something that's going to come up in the Alchemist fight, because I have a full Ninpo charged, and I try to be a little bit cheeky in here, see if it would have the same effect as a full UT, but that's the way how they behave, especially when you do their heavy attacks. So if you fight alchemists and you want to get points out of them, just do what I do here, and you can switch to Lunar, do charge UTs. If you get lucky enough, you might delimb them and they'll go for their suicide grab. And that's where they're vulnerable.
Couldn't you do the
Yeah.
the scythe, the 360 with the scythe?
That could work, but it's going to cost you a lot of time.
Yeah, these guys seem pretty tanky.
Yeah, they tank a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because this is only on normal, and yet that guy in the like this red, he's been Izuna dropped, like, and then some, and yet he's still going.
Yeah, he tanks a lot. These guys can tank a lot. That's another Izuna drop that they tank. Best way to kill them, if you only have 3 or 4 on the field and 3 or 4 in an encounter, the best way to kill them is with the True Inferno. That instantly kills them all. And the beauty of it is, if you have low health and you kill even one of them, your health gets fully replenished.
So, did you just now work up to the Nympho? Is that the reason you just cast it, or I didn't notice if you had it before?
I had it before Max, but I try to get as many points out as possible. I could have gotten a lot more if I used it right off the gate.
Right. I think in Ninja Gaiden 3 you could use like the forward Y with the talons and go into an Izuna drop there. Are their mechanics a little bit different here in Razor's Edge? Because I noticed you fought them with the
mechanic is
lunar.
a little bit different here.
Okay.
The mechanic is a little bit different here. There's also another thing I want to address. Everything you see, I've done this all without Scarab Glitch, because Scarab Glitch is pretty common to be used by many players just to get so-called high scores. But at the end of the day, when you look at a player who's used the Scarab Glitch, you're going to recognize that, and I will explain you that how.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that work?
But the Scarab Glitch, basically how it works is you have to spam your select button while walking forward towards the Scarab slightly. And if it works, you get a strange, annoying sound, but every time you switch from one thing to another, you get a minimum of 10,000 points. And I've done this as well for science in one of my runs. Is you do the Scarab Glitch, and because I had all 50 Scarabs, I was able to get 500,000 points minimum because I have all Scarabs collected, and I automatically have a ×2 completion bonus on that. But for anyone who does a common run, Scarab Glitch, it's not the way to do it.
Yeah, I've watched that. That's one thing that also kind of took the fun out of me when I watched the guy just do that on the very first Scarab. Then he would sit there and have all the money he could, you know, upgrade everything at the very beginning. And you don't have to play it that way. It was just, I didn't care for the game the first time. And then the RE version with that thrown in there kind of also turned me off. But, you know, there's a lot of people that swear by this game. We've talked about it in other Ninja Gaiden talks. But
yeah.
Do you think you'll be playing it a little bit later on, JTB, just to play it?
In about 100 years, maybe. No, my timeline. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to try it, and like for now, I at least have it. Like, because before I never actually owned it. Whereas with the Master Collection, I do actually own, you know, a copy of it now. Well, 2 to be precise. So I wanted to ask again, real quick. So you know, you talked about that kill counter, like towards your UTs, that
yes.
like the stack up UTs. I'm guessing, like, do enemies that you kill with a UT, I'm guessing they don't count towards that stack, do they?
They don't.
I was going to say, yeah,
stack.
didn't think so, right. So I was going to, in that encounter just then, like, it was you had like 7 guys, I think, on the floor, like 6 or 7. And I was thinking a UT would be perfect here because they would stack up, but yeah, I'm thinking there must be a reason he's not doing that, so.
The reason also why you don't want to do a charged UT is because a charged UT only grants you 10% of points from a full UT. So if you have a full Bloody Rage comma multiplier, for example, and you have no UT ready, that can only be at 2.0, you will only get 200 points for every enemy you kill with a UT, because a charged UT is only worth 100 points, while a full UT is worth 1000 points, and it's all multiplied by the Bloody Rage Karma multiplier.
Yeah. So you want to get that too. What is it? Does that max out at 4?
It maxes out at 3.
Oh, 3, okay.
With a full UT ready. Without a full UT, you can only max it out at 2.
Yeah, so there I see, yeah, you got 2300 points there, not 3000.
Yeah, because there are only 10 enemies on the floor, and you have the helicopter. It's a bit unfortunate that I couldn't hit a helicopter with a UT, because that would have been amazing.
Yes.
But you will see it happen on the top of the building after the Grip of Murder challenge.
So there are no projectile UTs in Razor's Edge, are there?
Not really. You can do some sort of a charge UT on your bow, which allows you to kill 2 enemies at the same time.
Alright.
But
So this is a Fiend challenge. This is like a Fiend challenge right here?
yeah, it's the Test of Valor.
Is there one in every chapter?
Yes.
Okay.
And completing all 10 of them will grant you another trophy. I recommend doing them, and if you die, just start over from the beginning of the Test of Valor. Do not do Proceed, because if you're dying perhaps in a boss fight, you will forfeit at least 70,000 points or 60,000 points.
Oh wow. Because we're all about the points.
I was gonna say, is that just like a death penalty?
Yeah,
Right.
a little bit like that.
That's kind of cool.
It's now you see me switching here and there from time to time to the Falcon's Talons is because you cannot steal on bone the rocket launcher guys, because they're, no matter what weapon you use, they're one-hit kills. So you need to max out, and in this case with the rocket launcher guys, it's the OT.
Yeah.
Because the OT here gives you 900 points because I have the Bloody Rage Karma multiplier fully maxed. And regularly like that, they only grant you 300 points. So only kill them with an OT if you have a UT ready. Because otherwise that Bloody Rage Karma multiplier is going to go down. And that's going to cost you at least 50 to 70 points every time it goes down.
How does that, does it start to go down? I mean, I see it go up, you know, like 2.8 and 3.0. If you don't kill anybody or slide around for a while, does it eventually slowly drop back down? Or does it, you getting hit is what makes it go back down?
What it makes go down is time.
Okay, okay, so it is time. Okay, yeah, I see it going down now, okay.
Yeah, and it goes down to 1.4. Once it goes down to 1.3, they'll start disappearing. So you need to get another kill as quickly as you can, preferably Steel on Bone, in order to extend the time that it can remain active. Now with a full UT on, the Bloody Rage Karma multiplier will remain active for a whole lot longer. And that is why you want to have that full UT ready. So you can slide around a little bit more, kill the RPGs from one side and on the other side a few seconds later, but it won't go down because the UT is completely ready.
So, what all did you do to test all these? I mean, how many times did you play through it, I guess is what I'm saying, to test all these theories out?
A few hundred times.
Oh, wow.
When I bought the game,
it sounds about right for a karma run, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The Test of Valor, I had to try 4 times to get this one done the way I wanted to, but I messed up badly here against the Vangelfs. But the goal for the Vangelfs, because you can't steal on bone, is to delimb them. And killing 4 Vangelfs in here on normal will grant you a full UT, because Vangelfs are not man-sized enemies, they're stronger enemies, and the stronger the enemy is, the less you need. But that only counts for fiends and man-sized enemies that are not alchemists. Now, I'm starting to do more of a 360Y spam because it has a high dealing rate and you really want to have that. Now, the UT is ready, but unlike with the Steel on Bone, my UT will disappear after a period of time. It started disappearing right there, and Now I'm going to have to use my dual katanas in order to get to UT. Otherwise I'm going to forfeit a minimum of 2,000 points. And that is what you want to avoid. Now, that's something I really loved, is I got the guy in midair with that UT.
So that final hit on the dual swords UT, like the shockwaves that it sends out, is that like damage based, or is that just straight up an instant kill on whatever it touches?
It's an instant kill on whatever it touches.
Ah, okay.
Except for the alchemists and boss enemies.
Yeah, I just mean like kind of regular dudes. I'm noticing, like, is it like a damage thing, or does it just kill anything regardless?
It kills anything that is like man-sized, fiends, Vangels, and regular humans. Even Chimera and brutes can be killed, even zombies. But I noticed alchemists, they're pretty much immune to it, to the instant kill effects. And the weapon you want to use against them for the full UT is the Falcon's Talons, because that one has some serious damage, and that does a lot more damage. Against Wolf, I messed up badly here because I tried to use the forward hold Y from Sigma 2 with the dual swords, and I didn't get it to work the way I wanted, so I switched back to the scythe and started spamming in with the 360.
Well, that seemed to take a lot more, a chunk whenever you change over here. I noticed that. But there is no like time or anything like that for killing. You know, the time limits are what has just really kind of threw me off. You know,
yeah, there are basically no time limits, but
see, look at the damage that
there is
does.
Actually some sort of a time limit. There's some sort of a time limit, and that also gets determined by the amount of points you scored in the encounter itself. And that's something I forgot to mention, is that health and time, they're a serious factor, because if you have, for example, you scored 54,000 points in a fight, and you get S rank on both health and time, then health and time will be each 27,000. And that only counts for techniques like Steel on Bone, killing regular enemies, but scoring for Scarabs, Falcon Dive, Raptor, that's all not included in that bonus. That becomes a part of the play bonus at the end. There's no Steel on Bone you can do here on the train. You just gotta kill the enemies as quickly as possible. Another thing I messed up over here. But that chopper is really deadly. If you don't pay attention, you can at least wipe away half of your health if you don't kill it fast enough.
I was just trying to so you still got health and time bonus there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like, so that versus like are any encounters, like, I mean maybe not on normal, but do any encounters on some of the higher modes, like do they have more enemies? Like are any encounters kind of like, I guess, to sort of vanilla NG2 where there's so many enemies in them that your Steel on Bone and UT points are going to outweigh like doing it quickly?
That actually might be the case, that if you have so many enemies, your Steel on Bone is practically going to outweigh UT points, so you really want to do that pretty much only at the end. Keep doing Steel on Bone for the entire encounter while maintaining your health, maintaining the enemies around you, so you can have always that perfect chain.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just to let you know, we can hear your background here. You know, whoever's talking in the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. But furthermore, any enemy.
Look at the guy's arm. He's just walking around with one arm.
Yeah, that's funny actually. But D-limbed enemies, they're actually perfect to do a Steel on Bone chain, because they're more likely to do their suicide grab, which also triggers the Steel on Bone attack. But some other attacks, like a continuous attack from the sword guys, they can also trigger a Steel on Bone.
Yeah, look at all these points come up.
Gotta pay attention to. Now it's coming up, which is the biggest challenge, which is the Grip of Murder challenge. It's always the Grip of Murder challenge, and this is all about speed. Here's everything is about speed, because the enemies in Grip of Murder challenge, even the Black Spire Ninjas, they're way more likely to do their red glowing attack.
So just a thought, actually, just something I thought of. So you mentioned that some of the weapons are tied to like their levels and that with steel on bone. Is 4 the max? Like, is the scythe the max you can do in a row? Is it still 4?
It's 4. No matter what weapon you use, 4 is the max.
Ah, right. I was going to say, because it seems like the one thing with the scythe that I noticed this watching the other videos as well. It does seem like that kind of swipe that it has, like coming up right here. It just seems to have like amazing range on it. Where I'm guessing something like the talons probably might not have the same kind of range, so you might whiff and lose the chain.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The scythe has the biggest range. I think the Keizerantares might have the same range, but I haven't tested that out because I'm so confident with the scythe about this that I've always done this with the scythe. Now, there are some enemies that I didn't kill with a UT because there's one that's spawning right there. And this is the end of the encounter.
What is that purpose? I mean, why does it do that little cutscene like that? I don't think it did it in Razor or in Ninja Gaiden 3, did it? Just something else they added?
After a group, yeah. There's something else they added, and it's always after a Grip of Murder challenge. Every time you complete that, you get something like that, where your health starts to diminish, and your arm starts glowing red. That's always after a Grip of Murder. The only thing it doesn't happen is when there's a direct save point afterwards. Like a falcon. That's the only moment it doesn't do that. Like, you have that on day 3, and you have that on day 7. For the rest, you always have that cutscene where you lose health gradually over time, because your arm gets so much influence from the Grip of Murder. But everything, as I said before, it's all about awareness, because not every enemy can do a steel on bone glow. Like, there are 4 types of enemies that don't do that, and these are Vangelps, dogs, the zombies, and the insects. But everything else can be steel on bone. You can even steel on bone the mini regions if you catch them in a chain. But furthermore, for the rest, nothing else can be steel on bone if you don't do it correctly.
So you have the power that lets you heal. Is that did that do any damage on the helicopter right there? Do you notice?
The meditation technique.
No, I switched. I saw whenever you did the UT, it looked like the helicopter flew away. Did your UT do some damage on the helicopter there?
The UT actually destroyed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it seemed to go away straight away, didn't it?
I mentioned it earlier that the second helicopter was about to get hit by the UT because of the vertical hitbox from the dual katanas. And that vertical hitbox was just high enough to collide with the hitbox of the helicopter. Therefore, my UT actually hit. The other helicopter earlier, the hitbox is way higher and the UT didn't collide. So that's why I didn't get to destroy the helicopter with the UT.
So I think what I was going to say is, I see that you're able to heal yourself. You're using some of your Nimpo ability to heal your health, and you do that for points to make sure you keep above that to get that S ranking?
That is actually 1, and 2, it also bases steel on bone attack.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Because, like I said, Black Spire Ninjas, they're not really likely to do the steel on bone grab, so you gotta bait them by either delimbing them or using meditation. And meditation is a lot more effective, so sometimes I take purposely some damage in order to be able to use meditation. Because at full health, you can't meditate.
So the meditation is the move that you're doing to get your health back?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why also I love to use the True Inferno for that, because it has the biggest key bar. So you can meditate for the longest period of time to heal yourself. If you're severely injured and you still want to get some points for health, meditate before the encounter actually ends. That way you can still get at least a C ranking on your health. Otherwise you get D, because to get D for health you need to be in red zone with a heartbeat. But yeah. Now this is a little bit more difficult. You gotta take care of the turret as well as the RPGs on the jetpacks. And that's a little bit more difficult. I could have used Nymph over there. I don't know if I actually use it later. I can't remember. Sometimes when you actually are on that platform and they land on the floor, you can actually get rid of their jetpacks directly, allowing to do a steal on bone if they actually do a red glowing attack. And right there, that's something you gotta be careful of. Is because their flames, they do an enormous amount of damage.
Oh, so they actually have a hitbox, the flame guys. It's from their jetpacks, you mean? Right, I see.
Yeah. They have that hitbox. That hitbox goes way further ahead than you think.
Can't you do some slow-mo or something? If I remembered right, in Ninja Gaiden 3, you could slow down so you could aim more precise?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that as well in Razor's Edge.
How do you do that again?
That's key. You gotta jump, for example. You gotta jump, then you hold your L2, and then your R2. And holding your L2 is gonna cost you a little bit of key.
Okay.
And that way you can actually do slow motion aim and do a precise aim.
Do you need to do that on the harder levels, or the normal it doesn't really matter?
It wouldn't really matter. I barely use it, so... And I think it actually slows down the progress a little bit, because since it costs you key, it might actually take away the ability to do a true inferno at the moment you really need it.
Right, right. Again, there's a lot of trade-offs.
Because you have to farm.
Yeah, there's a lot of trade-offs there on what you want to do. Like, you don't always want to do the Nimpo because you lose a lot of points on that, even though sometimes it might save you. You know, it might be worth restarting sometimes if you're going for points versus just getting through it. But
yes.
Well, great job here on day one. A lot of it looked the same from what I remember from Ninja Gaiden 3. There was a few differences here. Now, but going into, did I say day one? I meant day two. Day two, there was no Ayane in Ninja Gaiden 3, but they added that here. So you're doing her chapter as well. That's what this is right here?
Yes.
And what's the differences? Yeah, what's the differences in terms of that versus like maybe even Sigma 2? Because you played as Ayane there. Are the moveset's kind of the same going here?
The moveset is a little bit different. Because her movesets are a little bit more aggressive in Razor's Edge compared to Sigma 2. But I played Sigma 2 mostly. I spammed UTs because Sigma 2 just to play super highly skilled like those pros. I'm actually a big noob. This right here is something that I wanted to show as well. It's a feature. You can change your costume in game.
And that'll let you do certain points or certain abilities?
Actually, no, it's mostly aesthetical, but from my personal experience, when I have that outfit on, I always seem to play a whole lot better with Ayane than I did on her normal costume.
Now, this is the only weapon she has, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only weapon she has, and her UT animation is also quite extended, just like the dual swords, but she has a sneaky ability, which I call the sneaky OT. If you don't Izuno drop an enemy after UT, you can actually get a sneaky OT on them. And that's where the points are that you can get extra if you go for an all-out calm run.
So just real quick, with Ayane and because there's what, Ayane, Rachel, and Momiji in Razor's Edge.
It's just Ayane in the story mode, but
oh, okay, so that was the mission
you can
mode.
play, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But like, just the like, are the UT is the UT Steel on Bone stuff like, is that any different between the characters, or is that all the same? Like, like how you build UTs and Steel on Bone, that sort of thing.
It's all the same.
All right.
Now here again, you see another sneaky OT, and that's where I already got 600 points from. Sneaky OTs.
You could do that in Ninja Gaiden 2 as well. Kill somebody, and as they were dissolving, you could do another sneaky OT like you're talking about.
Yeah, that's Ayane's deadly ability. And for the Karma runners, it's the best way to get additional points. I think Ayane is a little bit easier to play with, but I don't like Ayane, to be honest. If there's a main girl character that I have, I'm sorry to say, I don't want to sound offensive, but I think it's Rachel. I don't like Momiji, I don't like Kasumi, I don't like Ayane. I always had something for Rachel.
I don't
the original, man. You know?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, everybody has their own
Sigma 2 Rachel. Not only because she can do wall jumps and wall runs, but also she has a much better moveset in Sigma 2 than she had in Sigma 1.
Yeah, boy, it's been forever since I played Sigma 2.
Yeah, same here. So, one thing I have heard though is that the female characters are supposedly much stronger in Razor's Edge. Like, would you agree with that compared to Sigma 2, or?
Compared to Sigma 2, the female characters are deadlier.
Ah, okay.
I've seen that when I played for Karma with Ayane as well as Momiji. In Razor's Edge, they're a whole lot more deadly. My health actually just went down over here, and tried to bait Steel on Bone using meditation, and they all fell for it.
They're just a sucker for a pretty girl. That's what they're doing.
Now, these enemies, the regular soldiers, they have the highest probability of doing Steel on Bone attack. They have the highest probability, and I think it's approximately something like 85%. On the other hand, the Black Spider Ninjas, they're really, really not tempted to do it.
Is that difficulty dependent at all? Like, if you, as you go up in the difficulty, like, do they do it even less because it's a way for them to, like, you know, if you're good with timing it, it's a way to basically just instant kill them. So, is there anything like that on the higher modes where, like, they don't do it as often to make them, you know, much more difficult to kill?
They don't do it as often as they do on normal. If you do it on Ultimate Ninja, they're not so likely to do it, but they're more likely to do it on normal. So, for example,
yeah, that makes sense.
As I said, those regular soldiers, on normal that's 85, but they have the highest chance to get a Steel on Bone glow, so I think it only diminishes with, like, say, 6 to 10%.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Because as I said, on the higher modes, you would expect them to not kind of just give that to you as easily.
No.
So you're not going to...
as easily. They're...
Go ahead, sorry.
They're not as easily to do that. They're not going to do it so often. It's just because they're more aggressive to try and take you down, just kill you. And even though the Steel on Bone is the one-hit kill attack, it's just that one-hit kill. They're not going to do it because they're a lot more intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just more enemies, they're just more spammy with other attacks.
So the guys with the shields, they're not going to do the Steel on Bone animation until their shields are gone?
Yes, that's it.
What move do you
need
do
to break their shields?
Yeah, what do you do to knock their shields off? Is there like a simple move?
Triple Y. Just do a triple Y and their shields are gone.
I like how she twirls as she goes across. You know, just something kind of interesting that they put in there.
Yeah, I kind of messed up here with the shuriken, with the incendiary shuriken, or the exploding one.
How did you mess up? Because you fell back down? Is that what happened? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. That's it, because it gave me an A on time bonus instead of an S. It's because I fell down. Because that guy hit me with an RPG. And that's really, really not good. If you're going for max score, literally max, that would be a reset over there.
Right.
But I've already tried this like 3 times to get this right. And I said, no, I'm gonna take it because I had a good score on that. So I'm just gonna go for a Test of Valor, which is very difficult to reach if you don't know what you're doing. Now, I actually had to try the Test of Valor, I think like, what, 10 times before I got it right?
Oh, wow. But see, you know, that's the whole point about some of these runs when people say, oh, you're just resetting it until you're getting it right. But, you know, people who die going through the game, they're resetting it until they get it right. You know, so whether you're doing a no damage or a karma run or just trying to get through it, I mean, that's the whole thing. And unless you get up to the advanced, I mean, you know, JayTB on his speed run of you know, getting under a certain time. I mean, you know, or, you know, Godfather's no damage. You reset until you get it right. That's just part of it if you're going to enjoy the game and play a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
That's actually it.
I mean, it's any kind of run, really.
Yeah, yeah.
It applies to. I mean, you could say that applies to pretty much every game ever, really. Unless you're, unless you've managed to go like your entire life with never ever dying ever in the game, which is, you know, pretty unlikely.
Right. Well, see, that's the whole thing.
Do that in Resident Evil.
Well, what I was going to say is that's what people say, you know, when you start doing some kind of specific, like, karma run. You know, they always try to throw that point out at you. Well, you're just resetting it until you get it right. And it's like, well, you know, isn't that for everything that you're doing? You know, so anyway.
It's for everything. It's for everything. You just practice, see if you can get a specific pattern. Just as JayTB once explained in his karma run video that he showed for that one fight at a military gate in Chapter 4 on Ninja Gaiden Black, where you want to have that specific pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, just like in that, 2 or more stars actually have to align in order to get this perfectly executed.
And you still have to actually do it right too. I think that's the main thing, that because I think speedruns is probably a more applicable comparison, because they're definitely a lot more commonplace, I think, nowadays. Like, I think they appeal, like their appeal seems to be a lot broader than high score stuff. But I think that's the thing, people, because you see that same comment leveled against speedruns. You know, oh, you know, they just reset until whatever. And I think, yeah, they are, but the difference between, you know, being able to do it and not do it is, one, being able to recognize when the pattern you need is actually occurring, which a lot of people overlook. And 2, you still actually have to execute when you get that pattern. It's not just you know, you reset until you get the pattern you want. You still actually have to execute correctly when that pattern occurs, and that's where the challenge is. You know, if it was just, you know, oh, I've got this pattern, I'm now going to go make a cup of tea and I'll come back and the run's done. You know, you still actually have to do what is necessary, you know, and if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because, you know, that's the, in terms of karma, that's the difference between, you know, 5 or 10,000 in a fight that you may not get, or an extra 5 or 10 seconds on a speed run.
And they are the worst feelings, you know. The worst feeling in the world is when you're doing that, any kind of run like that, like a challenge run. You get the pattern you need, but you mess up. You know, right. Because you think, oh man,
that's the worst.
You think, man, how? Like, yeah, because you just can't help but think, man, how many more times is it gonna take for me to get that pattern? You know, and I messed up. It is soul destroying when that happens.
So going back to this run real quick, you used Nimpo a while ago. What made you decide to use Nimpo at that certain spot versus maybe trying to still do your steel on bone? Was it the enemies weren't steel on bone? You couldn't do it on those guys, and that's the reason you used your Nimpo to get the combo points? I said
before, on the dogs, you can't do a steel on bone, so the easiest way to get kills on them is either you charge your UT if you have no Nimpo. But if you have Nimpo, you have to use it, because a Ninpo kill is worth 500 points multiplied by the Bloody Rich Karma multiplier. And though it will still go up, it does not actually increase the counter for the full UT. It actually stays the same, so killing an enemy with Ninpo actually temporarily stops the hit and kill counter. And in order to get that going for a full UT, you have to kill enemies regularly again, or with a Steel on Bone, or with an OT. But you can't use a UT nor Ninpo in order to get that to the full UT.
So, you know, that's the thing that's just, I hope people understand. It's not just try to get as many, I mean, it is try to get as many points as you can, but you've got to understand how to get as many points as you can. If you're not doing an OT at a certain time, or a UT, or using Ninpo, or, you know, chaining your Steel on Bone with the correct amount of enemies in order to do your, you know, UT at the very end. I mean, all that stuff adds up, and that's the difference, you know, between a really good score and a great score. And I think it's, I wish more people would kind of get into that. I actually enjoy trying to, you know, get that extra UT out of a fight. Or I say that I kind of do. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You enjoy it when you get it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing ever when you get it, and it sucks until, you know, you do. So anyway, but
yeah, that at one point made me so happy when I actually was able to get 2 full UTs on the first fight of Chapter 4 on Ninja Gaiden Sigma, whereas many people were just happy to get like a UT and an ET.
Right.
I was able to get 2 UTs because I killed 2 enemies with a single UT and was able to chain their essence towards the other guy.
Yeah, that can be a tough fight. Sometimes settling is makes it a lot easier, but then all of a sudden you wonder why your score is, you know, 30,000 down in a chapter.
Now, here's a little thing. If people paid attention towards the locations of the scarab, I missed out on 5,000 points. Because if you've watched the video, there was a little place where you could go up on the other side, and that's where a scarab was. And I forgot to take that one, so I'm actually 5,000 down. But at that moment, I really didn't care because I was doing so well. And I had a good score over here. And I didn't reset because I said, hell no, I'm going to take it.
On that note too, actually, real quick, one thing we haven't mentioned yet, the save points are also quite a bit further apart in this compared to the other games. So like what we talk about a lot of the time with gauntlets, like how many fights you have to do consecutively, that's a huge kind of burden for any kind of run where, you know, you have to do several things in a row, you know, with a very, very little margin for error.
Right. Yeah, because there's some fights in Ninja Gaiden Black where you could save after, or in Sigma where you could save after almost every fight.
Yep.
You know, trying to get this. Are there any scarab rewards? You said you missed a scarab. Are there any scarab rewards, or is it just 5,000 points and an achievement?
It's just 5,000 points right now. Since I already got them in previous runs, they just count for score.
Okay.
They don't do anything special. But collecting all 50 of them will grant you a 2x multiplier for the completion bonus and the completion score. So instead of 100,000, it will be 200,000. And that makes a big difference in getting a high score or just falling in second. I couldn't skip that because my select button wasn't actually working the way it should be. But I haven't played Razor's Edge at that moment in some time, so I was a little bit rusty.
So is there anything special about these guys? Or I'd say they've got health bars, but is that just kind of for show?
It's actually not really for show, because as soon as their health bar is depleted and you're quick enough, you might be able to get an OT on them. And there I missed an OT because I wasn't fast enough on the guy.
Yeah, I just meant like compared to when you fight these guys as Ryu, because these are the alchemists, right? But I say these guys have health bars, whereas they appear as like her boss equivalent, I'm guessing.
Yes and no, because they're not really alchemists. They're actually mini regions.
Oh, okay. So they're not actually they're not the same enemy. They just have some of the cross. They seem like they have some of the same attacks.
They have some of the same attacks, but they have an additional sword.
Right. Okay.
And that sword can be lethal if you don't really pay attention.
Well,
now,
cool.
We're actually at the end of it.
Oh yeah. It goes by really fast.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's something that we've always talked about here. So I'll be linking your channel into the NGTalk whenever we finally get everything done. So how are you doing going forward from here? I mean, are you happy with that day 2? Is that about what you expected, or do you think you could have got maybe 15 or 20 or even 40,000 more points? Or
I think I could have gone at least another 20,000 points.
Right.
But I was actually very happy because I broke my previous record with 51,000 points, which was a surprise to me as well. But I can still get more. I think 855,000 might be a potential upper limit, even 860,000. If you go in task region, it might go into 875,000.
I think not having the time limits is also kind of a hindrance on how well you could possibly do, in a sense. Because if you finish a timer in Sigma or Black and you have 10 seconds left, you're like, oh, well, there's another UT or maybe 2 UTs that I could get right here. But not having a time limit here, I guess, could be one distraction. I know the scoring system's a little bit different, but sometimes I got the S ranking. I got the S ranking on both, on my time and health, and this seemed fine, but because you released a UT too early, you didn't get the extra kill because there was one guy left, or something like that. So it's a lot more complicated than people think.
Yeah,
it all accumulates.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that's what I meant earlier when I asked about the time limits. Like, I'm guessing no one has actually worked out what the time limits actually are. Like for certain encounters, like for here, the S rank is, say, just for argument's sake, say like 45 seconds. Like, if people worked out all those time limits, then you would be able to look at them fight and think, okay, I've got 45 seconds for the S rank, so, what's the most I can do in this fight in 45 seconds in terms of, steel on bone and UTs?
Well, you don't always have to do steel on bone in order to get an S rank. Just finishing a fight quick enough, with enough health, also grants you an S rank.
Okay, so it's not just time related.
And just combo. Yeah, it's also score related. If you, like I said before, if you have a fight where you score, for example, 60,000 points with steel on bone and UTs, your health and time bonus will be 30,000 points each if you have S rank. But if you mess up on the time limit and you get S rank on health and you score 60,000 points, you will only get 52,500 points because you messed up on time, which deducts it by 25%. That's also the hazard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know if anyone is like working on that or has worked out them before, or like is just not enough people interested to work that stuff out?
There are not enough people interested to work all that out. Everything that I've learned from that, I had to go through hundreds of runs to actually learn that.
Well,
sounds familiar.
JayTB and I are, yes, exactly. JayTB and I are now assigning you homework to where if you want to write some of that stuff down, to just have the information, so maybe we could put that up on a, some kind of general knowledge of that if you would like to, so we could put it up on the forum. And we have the chapter kills and time, so if you would share your knowledge in that, and people could see it or have it readily available, maybe that'll pique a little interest in it, if you don't mind. No pressure, no pressure.
I wouldn't mind doing it. I just need to have the time for it.
Right.
Because sometimes I get distracted with work or with other stuff, with family businesses.
Right.
And I don't always have the time to actually gather the data. Because, as you know, I played this on the PlayStation 3. And I don't know if it will stay alive for long, or if it will die quickly, or if I can actually keep it for another 10 years. I have no idea.
Right.
And since the Master Collection is slightly different from the PlayStation 3 version, I don't think all data is going to be exactly the same. There might be a possibility it's the same, and if it is, I can do it on the Master Collection.
Well, just, you know, whatever you have time for, or whatever you decide to do. I mean, again, it's not that, you know, big of a deal, because, you know, since people don't really run it like some of the other games, but yeah, if you have like a free evening or something, it's like, hey, I know this, let me start jotting some of these notes down, and, you know, maybe organize it and we can share it, you know, on the forum.
Yeah, I can try to write down the amount of enemies you have in a certain encounter and how many there can be on the field at a time.
You know, something like that would be helpful.
A big part.
Yeah, it would.
That plays a big part in getting high scores, because then you know when to release it, but you also need to know what type of enemy has to come in at a specific moment and where it needs to spawn. It all plays all together. You really got to pay attention to that. That's really important to do. And you can't get distracted by my steel and bone counter, like my Bloody Rage karma multiplier is almost gone. If that happens, just don't bother, just do your UT, make sure it resets back, because otherwise if you still have the UT, your Bloody Rage karma multiplier resets back to 1, then you lose a minimum of, for example, 10,000 to 15,000 points, whereas releasing it earlier can grant you those points, even though you're going to lose a little bit on the bonus. It's all worth it.
Right. Finding that balance, like we've talked about before. Well, look, hey, this is very interesting. I'm glad you got a chance to show us this. We're going to go ahead and move on to the talk side of everything here. Let me pull up our pictures right here. And here's this. And can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, any final thoughts before we move on? Any last comments here on, you know, your Ninja Gaiden 3 and why you decided to do it before we move on to the talk side versus maybe some of the other games?
Yeah. The reason why I decided to do it, because I saw no one else doing it. And if a Ninja Gaiden game does not have, like, for example, calm runs or speedruns or anything, the game is going to be neglected after a period of time, and you want to keep it alive because it's also part of the community. And I think Razor's Edge has that little touch that other games don't have, like Sigma, Black, Vanilla NG2 and Sigma 2. It's that change of combat engine. It's the freeform combat that gives me the drive to do it, but also a different way to do calm runs instead of doing UT, positioning, movement, enemy health, weapon level. It all comes into play. There's another thing I want to address, is something I found out as well. I've been playing Sigma 2 as well recently, and I saw, especially for Chapter 4 and Chapter 1, that there are people that have insane scores. And it's a little exploit that I wanted to address, which is, especially for Chapter 4, which is the Statue of Liberty boss.
Well, don't tell them how to do it. We don't want more people knowing how to do it.
No. There's a little exploit, and that exploit has to be patched, and I wanted to send that to Team Ninja personally so they can patch it.
There's no way that will happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, yeah.
The way to do it is not going to be told. I'm not going to tell it. It's something that I want to keep for myself, because if too many people know it, you could have like scores of 12, 13 million, even 100 million, and it takes away the fun out of it.
Oh yeah, there was a glitch in Ninja Gaiden Black that Pokey86 figured out, and where you could get, you know, 999 million. And sometimes when you see people with these really high scores, they probably did what it took by accident and didn't realize that they were doing what they did. But yeah, I'm glad that's something he didn't release, and you know, it really does take the fun away from it. But
I'm happy it's not around, actually, because
yeah,
I've been trying to find a way how to do it for science, and I can't seem to find a way, so I just decided to let it go. Say, screw it, I'm not going to do that. I'm not a cheater, I don't like to do that. I really hate it.
Yeah, there is actually another one in NGB that I think even fewer people know about.
Oh well, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I knew the one.
Yeah, I know of one that I found on my Karma run way back when. And
oh wow!
And I was like, I'm not, because I originally it's just a very short history lesson. But on the chapter that I found it in, I was tempted to put it in the kind of extras. Like, it was kind of common back then. Like, once the video was over, people would put in like bloopers and little clips. And I thought, oh, I could put it in there. And I thought, no, because then it's going to be out there, and everyone will know about it.
Yeah, same thing I saw on Sigma in another chapter where you can freeze the time limit. You can actually freeze it. I don't know if it applies to black as well, but
well,
if you freeze the time limit, you could pretty much get unlimited UTs. To be honest, like 50 UTs in a single fight, while you can't do it.
Well, all that stuff though, the people who understand the game, knows the cheaters and knows what's false. I remember making a video, it's still up there, about the cheaters and Ninja Gaiden, the glitchers and the cheaters and whatnot. But for the people who don't know though, they're like, well, how do you know he didn't get it? And it's like, well, if you understand, how it all works, you would know that's not possible. 100 million is not possible. But the thing is the people who don't understand, they would have to talk to the people who do understand. And if they don't talk to them, they're like, oh, 100 million, that's really good. Yeah,
that's kind of I get, in a way, it's kind of a downside, but also a benefit of the the scoring, like the people that care about that being so small. The ones that know, and the ones that don't know, just don't care. Yeah, like, what I mean? It's like, we would see a score, if we saw like 30 million, for normal in NGB, we'd be like, well, that's definitely fake. That's not, that score is mathematically impossible. And the people that know know that. So I guess that's both a plus and negative.
I don't even think 20 million is possible.
20
million on normal is not even possible. I think
what's this?
19.7 is the potential max, and I think Kel mentioned me that.
I was gonna say, because Kel's got 19.4 million. And I haven't watched it. I have to watch his run again, but I think it was Kel's last couple of runs. If we're talking, like, I mean, not to get on a side, not to get sidetracked here.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah, if you're going, like, his Master Ninja run is the most recent one, and I think there's around maybe 50k of like definitive missed points in that run, which is pretty insane. Like, his runs just kind of get more and more nuts. So it's
right.
He's a god. He's a god, Kel.
I hope he's working on hard mode right now.
Yeah, he hasn't posted anything in a while.
I want to see. I don't have nothing personal against Ice Lord, but I would like to see him dethroned for hard difficulty.
Yeah, because
he has kept the Master Ninja score for ages.
Yeah.
Until Kel gave his little touch, and he just beat it by 500,000 points.
Yeah, he beat it by a lot. I think Ice Lord's hard run, though, I think would be much harder to beat. I don't, because Ice Lord's hard run, I don't think is easily viewed. I don't think there's not many videos of it out there, but his hard run is very, very good. Like, I mean, he beat Balbade by what, like almost 600k back then.
Yeah,
it's really.
You can find it on Miss Stolten's channel. It's part of that. For the
I kind of want to watch that hard run now. See how many points there is. Yeah, but it's really.
I want to watch
good.
that one too. But the one I watch the most right now is actually the Master Ninja run from Kel. It's just amazing how he's able to squeeze out those few extra points here and there, which accumulate quickly.
Yep.
Well, some of the Japanese players that's on, I forget the guy's channel, but he shares a lot of that. Burning Leaf is on there. The guy who has the Sigma run before the Master Ninja collection, his is on that guy's channel. So before Tomy, I forget the guy's name.
The channel's TKMO. The Sigma player's name is Kodok. Yeah.
Yeah. So all those are good runs to get. And so when you watch those and see how they've squeezed out, and then to know that Kel has squeezed out a little bit more. But again, you know, it all goes back to watching videos, the people who have made them, and then you learn from there and you grow from there. And that's the great thing about it, because at the beginning when there was no videos, it's like, wow, how do we move forward on all this stuff? I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times in the past, so we'll move forward here with the NGTalk and the talk side of it. So this right here is going to be picture number 1. And why don't you explain what's going on here, other than y'all stuffing your face with some good-looking little mini pizzas or whatever those are?
Yeah, I was at a party at that time with my older sister, and the person you see, the woman, is actually my youngest sister, and I'm the guy on the left of it, and the guy you see on the right, that's my youngest sister's husband.
Okay.
And we were enjoying some mini pizzas together, having a great time. I think that was like, what, 12 years ago?
Oh, I don't know.
13 years ago? Yeah, I'm actually recovered that photo from my Facebook account, and most of the photos I had were stored on my previous smartphone, and that one got completely destroyed.
Oh.
And I couldn't save the photos, so I managed to salvage those.
So y'all are pretty close?
Yes and no. I'm pretty close with my older sister. My youngest sister, I'm kind of close, but not as close with my older sister. I have another sister though, but she has isolated herself from the family. Personally, I don't want to talk to her, and I don't want to talk about her. So,
well, that's part of it.
You know? Yeah, I also have 2 brothers.
Oh wow, big family.
An older brother. Yeah, 6 siblings. I'm the oldest of the 3 boys, and before that I had 3 sisters. And basically the middle ones, I don't talk with the middle ones.
Well, I know family can be tough. My sister passed away a couple of weeks ago unexpectedly, and we hadn't talked for a while, so I know it can be tough. And you know, I remember somebody telling me, you know, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. And sometimes, you know, family, we would think, would mean everything to everybody, but sometimes it's just not that way. And so for the people who have great relationships, congratulations. To the people that don't, you know, trust me, there's more out there than maybe you would think. But enjoy these times. You know, it looks like y'all are enjoying some pretty good pizzas there. So going on here to picture number 2.
Oh, that's me. That was in 2010, or beginning 2011, when my niece was born, and that's my niece. My oldest sister gave birth in December 2010, and at that time my mother was with her at the hospital when she was in labor, and we had to sit here at home, do all the work. And a few weeks later, I got to hold her in my arms. I'm actually not only the uncle, but I'm also the godfather.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Just thinking about you saying.
It was a very happy moment for me.
Go ahead, JayTB.
No, go ahead. Just go ahead and finish. I was just going to say about 2010. Like, she's 12 now. Like, I think of 2010 as quite recent, but when you think back,
11.
Yeah, she'll be 12 this
she's
year.
11 right now.
That's crazy.
Well, she's doing very good actually at school.
That's awesome.
She's doing very good. I have another nephew and a step-nephew, if you want to call it. The step-nephew right now is 16, and he's less mature than my niece is right now.
Oh.
So.
Well, girls mature faster than guys. Especially when guys are at that teenage year, they're very... I remember being a little immature back in my teenage years. I mean, hell, I'm still a little immature in my 50s, so... You know, it's all good fun, though.
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. But it's something we grew out of.
So families, are you hang out with your nieces and nephews quite a bit?
Not really. They mostly come to visit us. Me personally, I'm a little bit of a lone wolf when it comes to socializing. I prefer not to have too many people around me. I go insane when there's a whole lot of folks. Like, for example, when I go and sit inside a train and everything is full, I go insane because there's too many folks around.
Right.
And then you have people who listen to music, then you have other people who keep chatting. I just want to go leave the train, jump off, and then take the next one, which is a whole lot more quiet. I really dislike people around me, or at least too many people.
Right.
Family I can handle, but people that I don't know, I don't like them around me.
Right. Well, you know, everybody has their own definitions of personal space and things like that. But, well, it's good to see, like, you know, you have these pictures, cherish them with you holding her in your arms like that. And because now you ought to take like a before and after or something. You holding them up now, you know how big they are now, and it's like, well, this was only a few years ago. But going on here to picture number 3. Now, you're a big hunter, and your family hunts, right?
Yes.
So explain a little bit of this.
As you see here on the picture, I took down a boar that day, and it was quite a big one. The ones in Europe you see, they're approximately like 200 pounds, maybe 220 pounds in certain regions. But I was actually hunting that day on the border of France, and I saw that boar coming up behind me. I actually heard it coming up behind me. I aimed my .30-06 caliber rifle and planted a bullet straight into him, and he just ran another 12-15 yards before it actually went down.
Man, that must have been pretty terrifying.
Yeah. We found it later in some bushes, and there's another expert hunter who actually can see how much it weighs just by looking at it, and that one was 200 pounds.
Wow.
And that day I actually set the seasonal record for the weight of the boars. But from that moment on, they actually called me the Heartbreaker, literally.
Well, you got to explain it. Don't just say literally.
Yeah.
You got to explain it, because it's why do they call you that?
The reason behind, because when I actually shot it, I actually got a heart shot, and we took it out, and I don't want to go too much in details. There was nothing left.
Well, I think, but you don't. You end up eating this boar, right? I mean, you use the meat,
yes.
And so nothing is just like for sport to just show off. You're actually killing for what, like population control, for food, for any other items that you can gather from that?
Food, population control, and sometimes when we have too much, we give it to other friends who hunt as well, so they can get the taste of it. But in general, when we take down a roe deer or a boar or any other small piece of game, we take it down with honor. We just don't go shoot just to shoot. Right.
JTB, are you a big hunter? I mean, have you ever gone out and done anything like this?
No. In the UK, I mean, I can't say with any reliability, but I have no idea sort of how that works here with regards to, you know, the law. I have no idea. I don't even know if it's a thing you can do, to be honest.
Well, they have, you know, here in the States, you know, there's hunting season, different hunting seasons, and you have to have a license. Do you have to have a license to hunt where you're from, Julius?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to. There's an exam that you need to do. You gotta take lessons. You gotta go to practical lessons, like go to the shooting range, shoot some clays. You gotta get a certain score in order to actually pass. If I remember correctly, first thing you gotta do on the practical exam is you gotta go inside of a tent, they ask questions to you, you gotta answer them. Then you go towards the safety parkour. And the safety parkour is the most important one because you really gotta pay attention to everything, your surroundings. If they say pigeon ahead, you gotta look if there's no mannequin in the far distance. And if there is, and you lower your gun, you get excluded right off the gate, and they say, come back next year.
Wow. So it's pretty strict.
It's very strict. I managed to pass that one flawlessly. First try. And I can say it was pretty amazing. Hang on. Come on. So,
hopefully I'll be able to edit that out a little bit.
yeah.
You know, him talking there. But, well, like I said, it's good that you do it for population control. You use it for food versus some of the other people who just go out to kill, you know, to just do it. I don't agree with that. But I know
some guys with us in Charleroi who do this for sports. They just shoot just to shoot, and
yeah.
I'm against it.
Yeah, I am too on that. Where I grew up, you know, hunting was a big thing. I just never got into it. A lot of my cousins like to do it. I mean, I've hunted like squirrels or doves or, you know, something like that, but not anything big, you know, like this that could probably rip you apart if they got a hold of you.
Oh yeah, they're very strict with us. In Flanders and Wallonia, they're really strict. Especially the chief, where I hunt for small game, he's very strict about this. You only shoot what is allowed by law, but you're also not allowed to shoot female pheasants.
I guess the color would tell you if they're male or female?
Yes.
Okay.
Male pheasants have a variety of colors, and it's not only to separate them from the females, but also to attract predators, so that the females are being left alone. But with pheasants, when they grow old and they no longer lay eggs, they actually receive the colors of the males. Because they no longer lay eggs, and then they actually do what the males do, attract predators, so that the females are left alone.
Well, there you go. Well, like I said, this I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but you know, this is a big part of, you know, somebody's heritage or culture that they do this, and this is normal to other people. You know, it may not be so, but like I said, y'all are doing it the right way, or in what my opinion of the right way is. And I hope other people see that you know, there's a license, there's a certain time of the year, they use it for food, population control. So that's very cool that you do all that. You got all your little gear on and everything, and that's. Do you have a lot of like bonding time with your dad on this, or your other siblings?
Only with my father.
Okay.
My other siblings, they don't do that.
Right.
Though my oldest sister would love to hunt, especially crows. They're making nests inside her chimney as well, and they make a lot of noise. But I said you gotta pass a hunting license, but she doesn't want to do that, so.
Just light the chimney, I guess, and smoke them out. I don't know. Hunting crows is, I think, a little bit different from hunting boar, but
yeah, just slightly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but look, hey. So going on to picture 4. There we go. What is this? This is on a trip that you took.
Yeah, this was on a trip. Yeah, this was on a trip that I took to Paris, and my French teacher, I was still in high school at that moment. She explained to us where the original meter came from, which is a little bit more than 3 feet, which is a little bit more than a yard.
Right.
But that's where the original meter came from, and they used that in the old times, like in the 1700s and 1800s, in order to measure cloth or anything, in order to make fabrics, to make clothes, and that's where it came from.
Well, that's interesting that they decided on that length and to put it out there. So that was kind of like a community thing where people could go up and use that as a standard measure.
Oh, people use that as a standard measure.
Right.
This is the original meter, and that's the metric system. Then you have decimeters, centimeters, kilometers. Right. It's all part of the metric system.
So where you live, it's all the metric system, right?
Yeah, that's all the metric system. Sometimes I explain a little bit as well in the imperial system, because especially if I play GTA 5, I use everything in imperial system. If I go like for 2 miles, I go 2 miles, and I can estimate it's approximately 3.2 kilometers, exactly 3.218. But I abbreviate 3.2. It's way easier.
Right, right. Well, that's cool that you got to see that, those little hidden gems when you get out and travel. You know, some people don't think to always look for something like that, but I'm glad you found it. So going on here to picture number 5.
Oh, that's when we took a break after a nice walk in Paris, and I got to make a picture with Brian, Kevin, Donovan.
So your friends, people you know,
yeah.
were they like with
Classmates.
the group? You seem a little
Classmates.
bit. Oh, classmates. Okay, what were you like in college at this point, or still in high school, or?
I was still in high school. I was in 12th grade.
Oh wow.
And we had the honor to go to Paris for 3 days.
Nice.
I got to visit a lot of stuff in Paris. And I'm happy I actually managed to get that jewel back from the brink of death.
So you got a chance to see Notre Dame, right?
Yes.
And got some pictures of that, yeah, because you know it burned, and they're still working on that.
I had pictures of that, but unfortunately, I think I lost most of the pictures that I took.
Man.
I even went inside, and it's
cool.
It's beautiful inside. I can say that it's beautiful.
It was, hopefully they'll be able to restore it, like the grandeur it used to be. Well, that's cool that you got a chance to do that. So y'all are in Paris right now, and that's what this trip is about. So this is picture number 6. Yes. So that's the Louvre?
Yeah.
The Louvre. Yeah. That is one of the best jewels that I took. Is because I even went inside and was able to get close to the real Mona Lisa at that time.
Yeah, they've kind of moved it away to where you can't look at it like you used to, right? I mean, it's kind of farther away. JTB, have you ever been to Paris?
No, I haven't actually. My travel record for Europe is actually shockingly poor. That's something that hopefully I can fix over the next few years. So it's funny because Europe, like a lot of Europe, is very close to me, but I haven't actually seen any of it really.
It's funny. Julius was talking about how he was hunting near the border of France, and it's just so interesting. Living in the States, how you're kind of closed off so much. Canada's far to the 15 or 2,000 miles north of me, and Mexico is. It's a little bit closer. It's only about 360 miles away from me, but still, it's not like you could travel a couple days and go through, 5 or 6 different countries like you guys can over there.
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to travel much, Julius, to other places?
Actually, no, but I do plan to travel to other countries once I actually see that the COVID has ended, because
right.
I don't want to take the risk of getting infected, having to go in quarantine again. I've been in quarantine in November, beginning December for a few days after I was tested positive.
Right.
I just had a regular sinusitis.
Well, I think it's better safe than sorry these days. Yeah. And so... What else? So this is picture number 6. I mean, at least it looks like you got on a good sunny day. And then going to picture number 7. What is this?
That's the obelisk. The obelisk of Paris. And I was able to take a picture of that on a beautiful sunny day, as you see, because the next day it was pouring rain down and it was awful.
So what exactly is that? Other than the obelisk of Paris, what does it represent? Or
I actually haven't gone to depth of that. I didn't even research that. I just wanted to have that picture because it was worth having it in the collection.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful. You see the hieroglyphs, the white pyramid on the top. I think it gives a nice little contrast towards the dark of the pillar itself.
The Washington Monument here in Washington, D.C. is kind of shaped from that base there at the bottom to the top. That's kind of how the Washington Monument looks. Shelley and I, when we were there, of course, they were closed for some renovations, but you could actually go all the way up to the top. Was this on like a building, or just like in the middle of a square? Where was this located?
This was located somewhere in the middle of a square, but you couldn't enter it because it's just one solid obelisk. It's not as big as you would think.
Well, like I said, all these little interesting items that you may not... Did you have like a list of stuff since you went with a class? Did y'all have like, you know, an essay to write on your trip, or go to certain places?
Actually, we had to write an essay, and we had to provide pictures to complement our essay. And the one that I wrote, the essay, was about the Louvre.
Okay.
And I was able to get the pictures at the moment it actually functioned. I was able to get the pictures transferred towards an external disk and give that to the teacher to complement with the essay. But all of that information has been lost.
Well, that's a shame. It's but at least, hey, it's always going to be on this NGTalk now, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So going on to
it's amazing.
So going on to picture number 8, obviously the Eiffel Tower at night. Wow, what a great shot!
Yes, that was one of my best shots. I even managed to get into the Eiffel Tower itself and go all the way up to the top. And what a view you have. What a view.
Yeah, we would love to get over. Shelley and I would love to get over in Paris. I mean, I grew up in Paris, Texas, and they have a little miniature Eiffel Tower like this with a cowboy hat on top of it. But I'm sure it's not anything like it. And then JTB and I, didn't we go in the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, we
Vegas
did. Yeah,
that year?
yeah, that was that was year 1. Yeah,
yeah,
that was good. Yeah.
So
yeah, I even actually went into it.
Did
I
you
even
eat?
went into it on a rainy day. Yeah, I actually ate.
Okay, okay. At the tower, is there like a restaurant? Is that what some of the lower levels are, or is it little shops around? How is it around there?
There were little shops around at that moment. It's a little market, and you could even buy a hot dog or a panini, but they're extremely expensive.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, yeah. Tourist money at the #1 attraction in France, pretty much. Yeah, or in Paris. So I'm sure it is all expensive. So again, y'all stayed there 3 days, and
Yeah.
after you left, and I know you were a little bit younger, did you really kind of soak it in? Wow, I just spent 3 days in Paris, France, or was it once you were a little bit older? Did you say, wow? It's been a while since I've traveled and done anything like that.
It's been a little while, I can say that. I would like to visit again, though I do have plans in the future, perhaps to take a month off and perhaps go to Germany or even Austria. But there's something I want to do with my family. I'm not going to do it alone, nor with friends. I want to do it with my family. Like, for example, my sister or my brother, my younger brother. And we all go to, for example, Berlin, stay a few days over there, or even to the very south of France in Marseille.
Right.
And have a holiday over there. For the rest, I personally don't have any travel plans because I have a lot to do for the family. I have a lot of financial stuff to do for the future, and it's not that easy.
Well, if we ever get together and go out to Vegas again, or do a trip, JTB and I again, or some other people, you're more than welcome to come over and play some Ninja Gaiden with us after you've done all the stuff you've wanted to with your family. I'm sure we'll be playing this for many years to come still.
Yeah.
One of the greatest jewels of the gaming industry, Ninja Gaiden. No, I would love to come over to Vegas one day and play Ninja Gaiden with you, but when it comes to actual skill-based games, I'm actually a huge noob.
Hey, we've said this all the time. It doesn't matter how you play. It's all about the camaraderie and just getting together. And I've told the story 1,000 times. Whenever I first met up with Weeble and Keizerantares, you know, they just ran over me. They were so good. But, you know, that has no effect on friendship or anything like that. Just getting to meet new people from different cultures, and I think hopefully we'll be able to do that again. And or if we ever come over there, you know, you're not too far. And far is a relative term, you know.
Yeah.
Me coming from the States, you know, 1,000 miles is not far. So, but I mean, I don't think you and JTB are that far, and who knows, maybe if we ever come over there, we can stop over and visit you in your country and do a little, you know, road trip that way. Who knows?
Yeah, but I'm warning you, the gasoline is quite expensive in here.
Yeah, I've told him that before. Yeah, like he has no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it just went up to.
We're currently at around €2 for 1 liter of diesel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very expensive.
Yeah, well, we're at a little over $3 a gallon.
Yeah.
So
that's very cheap.
A gallon is almost.
And people are complaining.
Yeah,
about it.
An imperial gallon, I think, is what, like 3.7 liters or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something like that. Between 3.5 and 4. I think it's something in the range of 4 liters, but can't say that precisely.
Like I said, there's trade-offs, you know, going to either way. And if we were doing it one time, I'm sure, you know, we could fade, you know, the gas prices to get over there and see the country. And yeah, I mean, that's just part of it. You know, that's just part of it. But, well, like I said, cool trip there to Paris. Glad you got a chance to see all of that. We always encourage people to get out and travel if possible and share that with us. That's the reason we do these talks. That, yeah, there is a Ninja Gaiden part of it, but there's also a talk side to share these experiences. So go on to picture number 9. This is getting away from the travel pictures back into, and what are these exactly?
These are actually Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I made myself, and I was thinking of writing a fanfic with a Yu-Gi-Oh Ninja Gaiden crossover, where you could get fiends as monsters you could summon, and this right here is a very powerful fiend. Like in Ninja Gaiden Black, it's already powerful, and think of what it can do in Yu-Gi-Oh.
See, I never played that, so I don't know. I've seen people playing it, but I don't understand it.
It's basically a card game that allows you to play cards. The stronger your monster is, the more damage it can do. But you basically start with a set amount of life points, and you play monsters, attack or defense mode. When you attack a monster that is in attack mode, it deducts points from your opponent's life points. And that's all depending on the difference between your attack and your opponent's attack. If the monster is in defense mode, no life points are being deducted because it's defense.
JTB, do you play any of the card-based games?
No, like I'm aware of them. Like sort of, you know, this looks familiar. Like I love how this looks, but I'm aware of them. But they were sort of, they seemed to be really popular. Sort of when I was in sort of my mid to late teens, so I was kind of, I guess, I don't want to say too old for them, but you know, I definitely wasn't, you know, thinking about that kind of thing at that age. It was all NG, you know. So it was, but I used to collect the Pokemon cards. I think everyone probably has some lying around, but no, I never got into anything else. It was just those.
Oh, I know someone who collects Pokemon cards right now. He's on YouTube. He's called Dai the Nogla. And he collects Pokemon cards along with his friend, the Gaming Terrorizer. Both Irish YouTubers. They don't really publicly show them on YouTube, but they're a huge fan of Pokemon cards.
See, I just never got into that. I know whenever I was... some of my friends, when I was like, you know, in 6th grade or, you know, 7th grade, 8th grade, they started playing Dungeons and Dragons whenever that first came out back in the late 70s and early 80s. And they would have their little books and paper and things like that. But I never got into it. And it's interesting how it's evolved over to, like, you know, cards. And there's like, I have some friends that would play Magic the Gathering and some, oh, you know, this is nerd stuff, you don't want to do it, but it's like, man, who cares as long as you're having fun. And
I do have a Magic the Gathering card in my hand right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's an old Glory Seeker.
So
a white card. Yeah, I got a limited edition for that.
So you made this yourself. So this takes us to our last picture, number 10. What is that? Again, something else you made. Is this the strongest character?
It's the strongest one. The strongest one you can get, and especially when you ritual summon it, it takes over the abilities of every monster has been sacrificed. So I don't know if you know the 3 Egyptian gods, Slifer the Sky Dragon, Obelisk the Tormentor, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. If you were to sacrifice those 3 using the Realized Nightmare Ritual, that monster, the Epigonos, takes over all their powers. And he would basically be unstoppable.
Yeah, I don't understand any of that, so I'm sorry. That's maybe bad on my part, but it's. Do you play a lot with your family and friends?
No, not actually. My brother has a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, legit ones. He also has quite a lot of Pokemon cards from the old ones. They're worth quite a lot at the moment.
Yeah, they're definitely blowing up.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting to see that side of it again. That you decided to make some characters from Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. These are not the only ones I made. I made the 4 girls from the Ninja Gaiden, like Ayane, Rachel, Momiji, and Kasumi.
Right.
And from those 4, Rachel's my favorite one because she has an extreme high defense. I even made like
Yes.
Obaba, Black Spider, Genshin.
There's a joke there about her defense, but anyway, I will not say it just because that's the immature part we were talking about earlier that I still possess. But you know, that was something that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. You know, that would have been cool if you had like made all 4 and kind of put them in one little picture next to that. And if you want to be able to do that, or not the girl cards, you know, if you want to do that and send that to me before I finish this out, you know, I'll add that in here as a little bonus, so that way the people could see the other 4 cards. So this is going back to our regular screen. I appreciate you showing all the pictures. Before we end up here, why don't you tell us a little bit about your name and why you choose different names and how you got into the series?
Well, my first ever name that I got on the internet was, as you pronounce it once, Keizerantares, and the reason behind it was because I.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about that on a call a while ago, I think, and I was like, oh, I think this is how you say it.
Yeah, it's like that. I used to play a game called Swords and Sandals 2. I still play it today, and I enjoy it. And it's the very final boss, known as Emperor Antares, that made me get that name. Keizerantares is actually Emperor Antares, but translated in Dutch. That's how I got my YouTube name back in 2009. Because I wanted to upload Swords and Sandals 2, but I didn't have any recording software in order to capture my screen. And that pissed me off at the moment, so I decided to do something different. And when I got my PlayStation 3, I decided to create julius-ruler4 because there was a joke that went around in the family. Like, my father said, in a previous life I was Julius Caesar, and then the joke followed, I was Brutus in a previous life. And then he said to me, "You son of a gun."
So how did that come about? Like, it's an odd user, like, nickname, I guess.
Yeah, I actually wanted to give a little bit of honor to my old man on that perspective. And Julius ruler is, you rule as Julius Caesar. You're the ruler. And I wanted to actually do forever, but forever I decided to drop the ever and just do julius-ruler4.
Aren't you the 4th child?
Yes.
There you go.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
We'll use it like that. So other quick questions here. Out of the 3 Ninja Gaiden series, or which game, if you had to rate them, 1 through 3, what would they be in terms of Ninja Gaiden?
In terms of Ninja Gaiden, I would rate, generally speaking, I would rate Ninja Gaiden 1 top, like number 1. I'd say, generally speaking, I would say Ninja Gaiden 3 would be second. That's my personal opinion. And Ninja Gaiden 2/Sigma 2 gets last position. I didn't like the change after I was so used to playing Ninja Gaiden. I had to go to Ninja Gaiden 2. I wasn't used to the change in the game system, in the combat system and everything, and it was a little difficult for me to adapt. But when I came into Razor's Edge, I adapted pretty quickly. So that's why it gets the lowest spot for me for Ninja Gaiden 2.
Right.
It's my opinion.
I think we've mentioned that before, but I think at the time, especially with NG2, that was very common. You know, I think that's kind of... It's why I think NG2 probably hurt. You know, like the growth of that game hurt at the start, because a lot of people just weren't ready for that change, unfortunately.
I think that's about it. Any final things, JTB, that you want to add or ask, or anything that we're wondering about while we got the chance?
No, not off the top of my head, no.
Well, Julius,
I would like to give a little advice.
Okay.
Especially if you see my day 1 video, you notice that I didn't save after the steel spider tank. And there's a specific reason for that, because we talked about that hidden kill counter. If you save and restart, that will reset, because the spider tank counts as a boss and counts as an enemy, which counts towards that hidden kill counter. So, and if you reset or die or just reload, it's going to cost you 15,000 points. That's a hit I'm giving you. If you really go for all-out score, don't save over there.
Right. So where would you have to start again if you had to restart? What save? Not from the very beginning, right?
No, there's a save point that you get after...
what, the 3 alchemists?
No, that's for day 1 I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Day 1 you get a save point, and if you look backwards after saving, you are looking to the left, you can see the Big Ben. And funny enough, the Big Ben will indicate you the exact time it is on your system.
Oh, cool. I never noticed that.
Yeah, it does that on the clock in Tyrone does that on NGB as well.
Really? I never noticed that
Yeah,
either.
it does. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it shows you the time.
Well, I'll tell you how bad I am. My wife put on my side of the closet, she put a shoe rack, or, you know, a little cloth thing where you could put the shoes in there. And she asked me to go get some of her shoes out of there. And I asked her, I said, man, when did you put this on my side of the closet? I've never noticed it before. And she was like, 2 years ago. I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, sometimes I get this tunnel vision here. But anyway, we're kind of running out of time here. Julius, I was going to give you the final word there, but you kind of, you know, beat me to that part. So I wanted to, you know, say thank you for coming on and you know, sharing your love of Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, and walking us through how the karma system works, and you know that there's, you know, ways to get points and give you know, extra points, that just because it always looks the best doesn't mean it's always the highest score. But you know, that's kind of with just about every of the games apparently. But again, thank you so much for showing everything. JTB, any like I said, any final thing from you, or?
No, say just
right?
echo what you said. Yeah,
right.
So it's cool to see this, because I don't think there's anyone. I can't think of anyone else or any other videos that have kind of made their way into my feed, you know, score wise for NG3.
Right. So
Alhazar is going to do one soon if he actually finishes his hard run, and he might actually go for an all-out score.
That'd be cool to see.
And
I hope he does it.
Yeah, he's actually watching my videos. I still have to clean up day 7 and day 8 out of my recording device and post them on YouTube. But for the moment I can say my run is over. I currently have the normal and hard high score.
Nice.
But hard's going to be a while until someone beats that.
Alhazard is also Miss Stolton.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Right. Yeah, but some people may not know that.
Yeah, they probably... I mean, if they've watched these videos, hopefully they do, because yeah, we probably mentioned it before.
But yeah, his channel can be if people go to my channel and go to the other people, the channel side, of course JTB, Kel, Godfather, but Julius is on there, Mistolton's on there. It's not Alhazard, but I believe it's Mistolton. I think on that.
It's Mistolton on YouTube.
Yeah. So, well, look, man, I really appreciate you coming on here. Thanks so much for sharing. Sorry for the delays, but sometimes those things happen, and but I'm glad we were able to get it done. And okay, guys, well, look, hope everybody enjoyed it. Any comments or questions, or feel free if y'all want to join do an NGTalk, just let me or JTB know and we'll get it done. Y'all take care, have a great day, and we'll see you later on.
See you later, guys. Take care.
Take care, guys.